Hi everyone. Been doing a bit of work over the last couple of days. I've got all the door frames finished now. I'll give you a quick look. Hopefully you can see that. There's enough light in here. So both door frames are finished. All the subfloors been pulled out and welded up on both sides. So that's all good to go. Got a couple of bars just in here temporarily to keep the cabin from moving. I've traced a big line round the back of the cab, so I know exactly where the cab's got to sit. I've done some reference marks in here as well as to where things have got to sit. But provided the floor's hard up against here, that's got to be right. And if it's hard up against the back of the cab, that's right as well. For the first time since 1936, the dashboard, the dash panel's been pulled out. There was a couple of little things I needed to do. I started filling some holes in it. I had a big split in it too, where the old steering column mount used to be mounted. But I'm actually using a different mount under here. That's out of the Ford Festiva. So it's mounted to that now and not the dashboard, but I still wanted to weld the crack up. I wasn't really fussed. It's not going to be seen, along with most things on this truck. I had 3 holes here that needed welding up. I think this was for the advance. It was like a switch for the advance on the distributor. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that big hole. I'm not sure what I put in it, but yeah, not sure at this stage, so I'll just leave it. Had an extra hole in here. These originally came out with 3 holes. Someone had put a 4th one in, but it sort of seems balanced there, so I'm going to keep that one. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for. I might put my turn signal indicator lights in here, maybe, I don't know, high beam and something else. So yeah, the dash came out. Had some splits up underneath. Well, it would actually be on the firewall, but I had good access to them from underneath the dash. So what I've done is I've welded up everything from under the dash. I grooved it all out and welded that up, and then I went around the other side and I welded it from the outside. Again, the firewall on the outside is not going to be seen because it's going to have a piece of stainless steel on there, just like the Chevy did. What you can see there, I've welded up the splits. This one I haven't had a go at yet on the outside, but I ran over a couple of other things. I grooved out some previous attempts to hold this cab together whilst I pulled the wood out. So today, as I said in a really early video, I'll start fixing it up as I get closer towards working on the body. But I have the chance to do it now. So yeah, anything that was split got welded up. A couple of holes got welded up. Still got lots and lots of stuff here that needs to be all plugged up, or maybe not. As I said, you know, there's going to be a stainless steel cover on here, so nothing's going to be seen. That really nasty split there, I haven't cleaned this up yet. I'll have a go at this tomorrow. That was what I'd done, oh geez, I don't know, back in early 2016. So I'm gonna grind that back, have a crack at it. There's a dint right here, but you can't gain access from behind it. There's just no way to get in there. So it's not really going to matter. You're not going to notice it once it's all cleaned up. What else have I done today? I went and got some more steel tubing, 20 by 20. Just going to use that for roof framing and for the back wall. I made a decision today on something that I always thought I was going to get rid of, and that's this piece of timber here. It's not in extremely bad condition. There's a little bit of rot here on the top where the window was leaking at one time, but it's holding the shape of the cab at the back here, and it's going to be an absolute nightmare to get this out, to be honest. So I'm gonna leave this here. I'm gonna leave it here, and I know the timber's good inside, because when I had to cut out these sections here, when I channeled the cab over the chassis, yeah, the timber was still red inside. You know, it was still in good condition. So I'll seal it all up. I'll use some sort of sealer or some sort of bitumen tar type thing. Make it watertight. But yeah, all this framework here, right around here, this will all get pulled out. That's what the 20mm tube's for. And up here, 20. That I'll leave that one in there. That can stay there. But from here, I'll just bridge that gap with a 20. I'll put another one right in the guts here, and up the front here, I have a piece of 20 by 50, which gets welded to the windscreen posts on either side, and that is the piece of steel that the wiper spindles will come through, and then it'll come out, obviously come out the skin here at the front. And I've got to put one more 20 by 20 piece in here, so I make it's like a little bulkhead that I'll be making here, and that will conceal the wiper motor, obviously the mechanisms, and whatever else I'm gonna hide up there. So might even put an aerial in there for the radio. But yeah, I've started to get it all together. It was a little scary. It's the first time ever that there has absolutely been no framework in this truck. There's nothing around the doors, nothing around the windscreen, nothing on the floor except for these two pieces. So yeah, I'm being very careful when I get in it not to rock it too much. But as I said, you know, I trial fitted everything after I welded everything up. After I welded everything up today, I trial fitted it all again to make sure that it all went back in exactly the way it was supposed to, and it did. And that's when I made my reference marks again. And yeah, you know, I figured the best opportunity now is to pull this dash out. But one other thing I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm actually going to go and grab the aircon unit out of my back bedroom where I've got it stored. And now that geez, I'm tongue-tied today, sorry. Now that the dash is out, I've got access to be able to trial fit that air conditioning unit. Work out where the pipe's got to come out, work out if I've got enough space between the bar and the firewall. If I have, beautiful. I'm going to use that Ford Festiva aircon heater unit. That'll go in there. If it doesn't fit, well, I'm just going to buy an aftermarket one. So we've got a local supplier that does those types of units. So yeah, I'll have a look around and see what I can get if that Festiva one doesn't work. I'm hoping it will. So far, everything that I've taken out of the Festiva has gone into the car, and it has worked well. And yeah, I sort of need this to work, because that'll save me a hell of a lot of money. It means all I've got to buy for it is a compressor. That's it. Because I've got the condenser, and I've got all the lines, and the receiver dryer, and I've got the unit, and I've got the control panel. And I do have the compressor, but the pulley setup is wrong on it. It's for a rib belt and not a V belt. So yeah, in previous videos I said I've been watching them. I think I said they were around $210 or something like that. Well, I actually spotted a Sandon one, chrome one, the other day, 125, brand new, comes with the warranty and everything on it. So you know, I'll just get a Sandon one and fit that up. But this will also give me an opportunity to play with this cowl vent. What I did is I changed out the spring. The other spring was a lot more taut than this, and it took somebody the size of Hercules to push this thing out. And even coming back, it would spring back. You'd really have to pull on it, and you'd end up jamming your fingers there. This was originally straight, but obviously when this bar went in, that couldn't remain so. So I've bent it at right angles there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend it off here a little bit, and I'm going to bring it down here, right next to the console, so I can push it from here. So that will work well, and the lighter spring, so much better. Still got enough tension on it to pull it down and to keep it up. So yeah, bonus. I think that came off a bed originally. What else can I tell you? What else have I done? I'm looking at a few things at the moment. Looking at getting them sent over from the States. Some electric window regulators. I've bought two out of a 94, 95 Jeep Cherokee, and the travel wasn't quite right on them. It didn't quite go, the travel wasn't quite as long as I needed for the doors. I was going to modify them, and it would be a simple modification, but I still need a third for this back window. So what I'm going to do is take the Jeep Cherokee one, use that for the back window, keep the other one for a spare, and order two out of the States. And because I know that the travel on those is perfect for what I need. So wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but you know, the truck's cost me stuff all to build so far, so I'm gonna I'll go get something decent. Cut down the amount of work I got to do on it too. Let's see what else. I'm looking around because I've got about 10 videos prior to this one on the camera, but I just rambled on for too long, and it'd be like a 4-hour epic. So I'm trying to consolidate this into something around 20 minutes. Not much else, I don't think, guys. Yeah, not much else. Have a quick look out here. It's a little bit dark. 7 o'clock at night here. It's absolutely bitterly cold. Freezing cold. Yeah, I'm surprised that they came up as well as they did. So the idea is now, when I've finished playing around inside there with aircon and all that sort of stuff, and I've got that to a point where I'm happy, what will happen is these door frames will go in first, and they'll be tacked in place, and then the subfloor will go in, and that basically it basically just tightens everything up, and then the bottom of the door frames will get welded to the subfloor and get welded to this old brace here. I had it tacked there originally, and same on the other side, and I had it tacked here, but it'll get welded in here, and it'll get welded along the top there. And then what I'll do is I'll knock these tubes off. They're only held in by one tack. I'll knock the tube off and then weld it from underneath as well, just to strengthen it all up. And once that's done, then I'm going to start pulling out the timber on the back wall, because I need some strength in the cab. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but you can see how flimsy the cab is. I have to be very careful. It's very rocky at the moment because there's nothing holding it together. So I don't want to go pulling out all the wood in the back wall before I've got the floor back in it and got these door frames in it. Now, one other thing I've got to do, and I think I mentioned it in a very, very early video, these windscreen posts or A-pillars, you can see there, you know, now that I've untacked the floor, like everything's sort of fallen forward a little bit, but I know that I know how far it's got to be pulled back anyway. So what I've got to do is I've got to drill a couple of little holes in along there and straight through this solid piece of cowling, and I'm going to spot these in from behind, because you can't do it once the A-pillar's in, because this just gets basically jammed between the A-pillar and the cowl, and there's nothing to hold it. So I've got to get this in. I've got to get this in first, and then just slip the whole frame in. I'll have to trim this off like I did on that side. I took it all off that side. It made it easier too. It stopped me twisting the sheet metal to try and get things in. So I'm going to finish this off. I'm going to cut this all off, and in the end I'll have my mate Mike on his guillotine cut a piece of sheet metal the width of that'll come up, and it'll roll. As you know, the tubing is square, but it'll roll and it'll follow the door jambs. So basically all the sheet metal on the door jambs and above the door and down this B pillar will all be new sheet metal. So all this ugly stuff gets covered up, and it'll all be spot welded in. I bought a tool from Eastwood over in the States, spot welding tool, to do that job. So yeah, everything will look nice. It'll look all clean and finished when I'm done. So yeah, that's a job I have to do. I have to tack this to the cowl because there'll be nothing to hold it. When it all goes back in, can't really show you now. It's a little dark, but when it all goes back together like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy some really good seam sealer, and I'm going to seam seal between here just to give it a nice smooth look, to make it look as if it's one piece. And yeah, so lots and lots of stuff's been happening in the last few days. I've got lists and lists and lists of stuff that I've got to do, or I'm attempting to do, and yeah, I'm gonna see if I can salvage one of the other videos. It was explaining how I modified my wipers for the dash, but if not, I'll just shoot another little video on what I did with the wipers. Turned out quite good actually. Very proud of myself. So yeah, so I'll leave it here for now. I'm going inside, gonna have some dinner and probably have a beer and call it a night. It's getting a little bit too cold out here now, so cheers.